ambient sound control off now.
Wow.
Crazy.
Hey guys.
Hi everyone.
You guys are all wearing Christmas garb, as am I.
Ah!
Because it's almost
I
Christmas.
wonder why.
Have
Is it
yourself a merry little Christmas.
That's
Wow.
terrifying.
Okay. Hi everybody. Welcome to
Hi.
Big Trend
Hello.
Brats with Fang. This is I think this is one of our more exciting episodes. I think we're all very excited to be here. More excited than we've ever been to do this. The vibes are great. They're immaculate. I hope you can feel them through YouTube, Spotify, wherever you're listening or watching. So, to start this fun little podcast, Tread and I are gonna play a little game, or we're gonna run a game. So this podcast is we're just gonna have some fun with heat check. So there's a death word on this podcast.
What's the death word?
Love some dramatic music. Colon. There it is. There it is. So Tread and I know the death word, but Krout doesn't. And we're going to put it somewhere on the top of the screen for YouTube so they know what the word is. Okay. Here's how this is going to go. This is going to happen multiple times throughout these podcasts or throughout the year, whatever. Okay. If Krout does not say the death word, right? We made it something kind of tough, right, Tread? It's not that easy.
It is not that easy. I can confirm.
If he says this word, then Tread and I get 50 heat check points. Okay. If Krout does not say the word, he gets 100. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay.
Yeah.
You'll know when you say it, Krout. We're going to let you know. Okay. Anyway.
It's in the top corner on the pod. It'll be there all show for those of you hopping in and out.
Yes.
That's right, Cole. I just made you do that. You like that?
Kumquat.
Nope.
Just keep throwing out random words. Let's go. Come on, just go.
Peppermint.
Ooh,
No.
good one. But
we should have done a Christmas theme.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that would have been smart. Or did we?
Well, now I'm just not going to talk. Peace out,
Okay.
guys. Have a good pod. All right.
Okay, Krout. Good. How was your weekend?
It was good. I mean, first of all, I just want to point out my drunk uncle aesthetic I'm going for right here.
It's really good.
With the
Drunkle.
cardigan, and I took the drunkle aesthetic. Speaking of aesthetics, Cole, throw up the picture, boys. I'm sure you can look in the group chat. A couple friends and I went out to SantaCon this past weekend, and I decided to wear a Bears jacket. Okay, you guys can see that. First of all, drip, right, Brad?
Absolute drip.
Absolute drip. But it had some unintended consequences for me. We walk into this sports bar on 21st called the Silver Dollar. Shout out Silver Dollar. It was really cool. And within like 5 minutes, I'm being approached by several people. The first of which was a guy who came up and slapped me on the back and said, "How about them Bears, huh?"
Duh, Bears.
And like, it didn't set in very quickly. So I'm like, oh, he's not talking to me. I was like, no shit, I'm wearing a Bears jacket. So I turn him like, yeah, Justin Fields tanking, bro, like crazy. He's like, I know. And he walked away. I'm like, oh God, this was a mistake. Like, this is nightmare fuel for me. And so like the night goes on, and like so first and foremost, I just want to say thank you guys for this pod, because without you guys, just explaining just a little bit about the Bears, I would have been just, I mean, at least I had a couple things to go with, right?
It paid off. It all paid off.
It paid off. It paid off. But so the night goes on, and I'm trying to close out my tab like at the bar. So I'm just standing there, and this place is packed. And this guy comes up to me, and I'm like, oh God, like I'm being approached by a lot of guys at this bar, first and foremost. Yes, Brad.
Can I get a time of afternoon / night, please? / maybe morning?
1:30 a.m. most likely.
Okay. Just want to know.
And he approached me and he's like, "Hey man, Bears fan, or do you just like the jacket?" And at this point I had lied too much. So I kept,
You're in too deep.
So I kept it straight with him. I said, "Hey buddy, listen, I like the jacket. I'm getting into football a little bit, but I'm more of a Cubs fan." And so we kind of just, talked about the Cubs. Dansby had just signed. So it was a good day.
Nice.
And, and we talked about the Bears a little bit, but yeah, like 4 or 5 people came up to me about the Bears, which honestly, after what happened next, kind of led me to pledge my allegiance to the Chicago Bears. So we're leaving the bar.
A new fan. We got a new fan.
We're leaving the bar and I've already closed out. I'm driving, so I hadn't had a drink for, a long time. And then this guy walks up to me, the guy who I talked to. He's like, "Hey buddy, I bought you a Miller. I'm not sure if you're leaving or not, but
I bought you a Miller.
I bought you a Miller." And he's like, "I just want to say, go Cubbies, go Bears, man. It was nice talking with you." And I'm like, you know what? There's a lot of Bears fans out there and they're good people. They seem like they love their team regardless. And so I was like, you know what? I need to be a Bears fan.
Dude.
And so, yeah,
go.
I'm a Bears fan. I'm going to continue to learn. But what happened next was, I think, the most Bears thing that could have happened. So obviously I can't drink the Miller. So I'm with some buddies. So I just passed the Miller off to a guy in the group who I'm driving home. And I'm like, "Hey, this dude just bought me a Miller. He's a Bears fan. We're buddies now. But I need you to drink this beer right now."
Yeah.
And so this individual drinks the beer at an accelerated pace.
1:30 a.m.
Sets the beer down and then promptly leaves the bar very, very quickly. And I go, okay, it's kind of interesting. So I follow him outside and he turns back and he looks at me and he's like, "Let's go. Come on. We got to go." And I'm like, okay, interesting. So we cross the sidewalk and we're looking across the other sidewalk as well. And I turn away, I look away, and then, out of the corner of my ear, it hears like a bunch of liquid just hitting the ground. I'm like, oh, somebody must have dropped like a glass of water. And so I won't name this person. We know who it is, but just absolute upchuck all over the side of the sidewalk in front of hundreds of people. Quite literally one of the funniest things that's ever. Hundreds. Like, this place is packed. The street is like packed with people wearing Santa attire.
That's right. Okay.
Upchuck.
Upchuck, Tread.
Yeah, Tread. How old are you, dude?
That's
vomit, throw up.
Boom! 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 Boom!
That's not fair. That's not fair.
Come on!
Yes.
That's not fair.
Yes!
We decided this hours ago.
No. That's not fair. No,
why is that not fair?
I had to have peaked
because
during that entire
you guys cheated.
time.
You guys cheated.
No,
you sounded good here, Tread. Don't worry.
You
did it.
guys
You
cheated.
said it.
You
said
cheated
it before we had the chance to hit record. So we said, "Let's just keep going."
You sound like the Spurs in what's the movie with Jackie Moon when they do the alley oop and they're like, "He can't do that. That's not fair. That's not within the rules. We're in the rules."
You picked that word knowing I was going to tell this story.
No, we swear.
No.
Well, you know what?
Brad did a random generator.
I did.
When he gave me like 4 to 5 words, and I was like, I was between 2 words, and he chose vomit.
Was it puke?
No, those were the words.
No way.
Yep.
I guess I
was between curriculum and vomit.
I guess it's just a Christmas miracle, boys. That's incredible, actually.
That's pretty.
Yeah,
why did I?
It was awesome, but the story's cool too.
No, it's really not. That's the whole point.
I also, can I say something, Krout? I'm really proud of you because, first of all, not only did you follow the football team that is your same town as your baseball team, okay? Yep. So now going to Chicago,
why it works so well.
is going to have 2 meanings for you at some point, right? Mm-hmm. When you go back there. Also, they're not great, and they're rebuilding.
Mm-hmm.
No,
and it's a good time.
They got a nice future, though. It's a good buy low, sell high. Yeah.
Yep. And historically very prominent winning franchise over the history of football. So, there's some passion there. It's a great team to pick. I'm very happy about that.
Yeah. And like the night was just so beautiful, like getting beers bought for me by Bears fans, nice people. And then just, guys puking literally, right outside the sports bar. It just seemed very Chicago to me. So
Yeah,
I think it was a sign. And yeah, I cannot believe I just said the death word in the first like 5 minutes of the pod.
that's awesome. People are gonna think we faked it. But, oh,
No,
well.
that's awesome.
Were you pissed when I said up, Chuck? And you're like, you got it.
Well, that's where I was like,
that pisses me off.
And then I
Trent
was
and I
like,
had some other methods to get it out of you at some point.
I was
we were
like,
gonna talk about.
Jack in the Box, pop out now. And
Yeah.
you go up, Chuck. And I'm like, no, we're too close. We can't let this. And Brad's like, let me change the subject. I'm like, no, we're going right back to this.
Yeah, almost a minus.
Well, that just feels so like you guys were so invested in the story, and it was only because I was going to say puke or vomit.
I was not. I was very invested in the story.
I liked
thought it
your
was an
story
awesome
as well. I thought it was a great story. You know what I mean?
It was pretty fun.
So,
It's great.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm a Bears fan now.
Speaking of
And you
Christmas
guys get heat
miracles,
checkpoints.
Speaking of Christmas miracles,
do you guys want to do our little Secret Santa / present / Christmas ep?
we sure could.
Okay. Can I go first?
Yes.
Okay. So,
Will we just send these to the group chat?
yeah, we can do that. Mine,
Okay.
This is for Krout. The first gift is for Krout. And I want to just get it out of the way first because with this story, it might not actually be a great gift anymore. But
it's a football thing, isn't it?
It's kind of a yikes gift considering our new story.
Yeah,
Aaron Rodgers jersey?
No, because
it's better. It's better.
Ayahuasca Rodgers.
Better.
It would have been worse if I got that because that would have been really bad.
Yeah,
but
you would have had to burn it.
Yeah. Yeah. So my first gift for you was I wanted to get you a Aaron Rodgers jersey that said ayahuasca on the back instead of Rodgers.
That would have been so fire.
Let's just say I could not find it.
That's okay.
And all the other ones look terrible. So I reminisced about the podcast and about who Krout and I have bonded with over in the football world. Out of everybody in the NFL, you were texting me on Thanksgiving saying you've never really watched this team play before.
It's either Kirk Cousins or Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's not who you think it is.
It's not the good guy. But Krout, do you know what happens when the Vikings win on the road?
Do they scream skull and blow into the horn or something?
Well, they definitely do that.
Yes.
Yeah. But what they do is they
impressive.
have a tradition where Kirk Cousins
I
puts
know.
on everyone's chain.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
And they call him Kirko Chains.
Mm-hmm.
Kirk
My
Thuggins.
friend.
No way. That's fire, dude.
That's your new shirt.
Thank you so much, bro. That's
Kirko
dope.
Chains. And it's actually like oversized look. Like it's pretty drip. It's pretty fire. Not
because
gonna
Brad's
lie.
huge and it's big on Brad.
All right.
I love to wear like 2 sizes too big. Okay.
It'll look good.
Brad,
It'll look good.
Brad, I want to give to you now that you've given to me. So I'm throwing this in the chat. Maybe Cole could throw it up there once it arrives. This is a joint gift from Trainer and I. Okay.
Oh, thanks,
Train Dog.
Yeah. So shout out Train Dog. But this is coming from Trainer and I.
No way.
So Chad, you can see it too. It's a Bob Does Sports golf hat.
Oh, shout out Bob Does Sports.
Shout out BDS.
He's the best.
I think Brad, you've made that transition from, Division III baseball player to, golfer who gets way too frustrated. And I think it's just fitting for you to have a hat.
I love this hat so much. Thank you both very much.
Shout out Trainer. It was his initial idea, but
shout out Train. Train's so good at gifts. And thank you, Krout. Thank you very much. I love that. Absolutely. That is awesome. Have a day, young man. Have a day.
All right.
That is awesome.
So I got Krout.
Yep, I'll get it.
Awesome. It's going to stay within the theme of his sports teams. He announced that he's a big Bears fan. We all know that he's a Cubs fan. So I wanted to really add to that by getting him a New Jersey Devils beanie.
That is dope.
Hey,
that's awesome.
I got to have a little bit diversity in my sports teams. And so this is going to fit my jersey from Goodwill. Yeah.
Well, if you guys remember at the first episode, Krout did say that he's a New Jersey Devils fan because of his jacket he bought at Goodwill So
which will promptly be just the first thing in his closet that he's gonna just have open, right? Like this
Correct.
this jersey is gonna be
Yeah.
right there.
So, yeah,
Oh,
there you
yeah,
go.
there it
so
is.
now he's dialed in on his fandom and the Devils are pretty good. So,
Hey.
you know,
They weren't when I bought the jersey, but they like the Bears have a promising future and they're playing some good hockey.
yeah.
So
Dude,
You know,
Dan
you know,
Hughes, the Bears and the Devils. Look at
And
you.
then-
it was a good day, dude.
Brad, I will put a picture up right now, but I got you.
I love
because-
it.
Yes. And of course, you can totally see what it is.
Yeah.
But listen, Brad, I know you like going to the gym. I know you like showing
Oh,
off the
no.
guns.
Oh,
So I
Oh,
got you. And I know you like a really bad football team. So I got you a
Oh.
Raiders tank.
no
An
way.
Or I think it's a
Yeah.
Las Vegas Raiders tank. So,
Oh, that's fine too. Thanks, Fred. That's
Yay.
awesome. I love that. I'm gonna wear that every day. I'm gonna wear it under our jerseys when we're coaching together. How about that? And I'll show
That's
it to you every
huge.
day.
yeah,
every day.
I think you rip off the jersey after wins and show off the Raiders tank.
Yes, absolutely. That's what I'll do.
That's
Thanks,
a vibe.
Fred. I really like it. I really appreciate it. I like it. I love it. Actually, I can see it.
Yeah, it's so good.
I want to this one's Krout and myself for Tread. Okay,
Idea stemmed out of Brad's brain.
but this is a good one.
It's a giant brain, so I'm excited to hear this.
It is a big brain. A lot of hair, a lot of brain. So, Tread, if you had to pick one, okay. How do I want to go about this? How do we do this?
Take
Kyle?
your
If
time.
you- okay. If you had to pick
no,
one person
yeah.
in the whole world to sit down and have a conversation with right now, let's say he is an athlete for your favorite team, who would you want to sit down with and talk to?
That is a good question, Brad. I think I would go
Before you
with-
answer, would you have known him like a month and a half ago? Or wanted to
this
talk
a-
to him a month and
Is
a
this
half ago?
Brock? Is this a Brock Purdy situation?
We might be going down the Brock Purdy train here.
Is this a Brock Purdy situation?
So anyway, if you had to pick, who would you pick?
Kyle Juszczyk.
Okay. So who hands the
Who's
ball
that?
off to Kyle Juszczyk all the time?
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Okay, when Jimmy Garoppolo has a broken leg and somebody comes in who's like super exciting, fun, and is leading your team to the playoffs, maybe the Super Bowl, and you compared him to Josh Allen, who is that guy?
Christian McCaffrey.
Okay. Who wears number 13 for the 49ers?
I'm not really great with numbers, Brad.
All right.
Who
This
is
what we got
Mr.
you.
Irrelevant?
Show it on the
You
screen.
got me a Brock Purdy jersey.
Yeah, we did.
No way.
Yeah.
No.
Yes,
No.
actually.
No
We did.
chance.
We
No
did.
chance, dude.
We did some research. And
Is
Koch
it an
was like,
extra small? Did you guys hit me with like a hilariously small Brock Purdy
that would have
jersey?
been so funny. No,
You guys just drop $160 to make me look like an idiot.
no.
Here's a
No,
funny
but-
Christmas story. I love it. Thank you so much. But
You're welcome.
one year, Koch got me like this shirt from China, and he got me like an XL, and it's like a belly shirt. I'll send it into the chat right now.
Are
I
you
have
group
to
chatting
show
it?
this. I have to show this on the show. Oh no, dude.
This with the SAT picture, just in a collage.
It's the shirt says, "You serious, Clark?"
Oh gosh.
But this is a double X from China.
Oh, dude, I gotta get.
No.
Can you see it?
No.
Dude,
Oh,
Dude, you look like Farva, Tread.
dude, it's so bad.
You look like
I do
Farva
look like
drinking a-
Farva. I do look like Farva.
Cole, you got to put that in there.
No, we'll put it in.
Serious,
We'll put it in. Are you serious, Clark?
Gosh, that's so good.
That's good stuff.
What do you guys got on best Christmas movie of all time? What do you?
I
what do you
got mine.
Do you guys have a top 3, or do you just have like a? Do you just have like a number
I have
one?
one. I got a
Just
number
one.
It goes
What do you
with
got?
my it goes along with me like hating Christmas and seeing kids.
Of course.
Okay.
Christmas with the Cranks, just because it's so anti-Christmas. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but then it comes back around towards the end, and it's good Christmas vibe. But it's a great movie. Have you seen it? No.
No.
Oh, it's
Nope.
Tim Allen. They want to skip Christmas and go on a cruise, and then the whole town like finds out and tries to like
Oh,
just
that sounds
mess
kind
with
of
them.
funny.
It's hilarious. It's a good movie.
Brad, what do you
All
got?
right, Brad.
To me, it as a kid, it was Elf until I realized that it's the most overplayed movie ever. But it's a classic. So I think the one that gives me like the most nostalgic feeling is probably Polar Express. So I'll go with that. But I don't think it's the best. I love Christmas Vacation. But yeah, I'll probably go Polar Express. It's a good movie.
Yeah, I would say that Christmas Vacation for me, every time I watch it, like I catch something else that Chevy Chase is like saying under his breath that just went way over my head when I was a kid. So I've got to go Christmas Vacation. But I do have another question. So movies that are like Christmas is happening in the movie, but isn't necessarily like the theme of the film, is that considered a Christmas movie? So like the big one is Die Hard. Like Die Hard is always considered to be a Christmas movie, but Die Hard, like the movie does not revolve around Christmas. It's just Bruce Willis being a badass. And also like shout out Severus Snape as like the bad guy in that movie. Also rest in peace.
Dude, good actor.
Alan Rickman.
Bad loss. That's a bad loss.
But yeah, no, great film, but I don't consider it to be a Christmas movie, to be honest with you guys.
Me either.
So,
Me either.
Kind of fraudulent that like movies that have Christmas in it are like considering themselves Christmas movies. It's just not.
Yeah.
I think the criteria is like you have to be centered around Christmas. Like that
I agree.
is the vibe of the film.
I agree, but we'll have to double check with Brad on this one. Movies that give me Christmas vibes, although not about Christmas. Harry Potter, because they go through the school year.
Yep.
And there's good Christmas vibes in those. So we'll check back with you, Brad, because you are watching every single Harry Potter movie.
And I actually just so happened today, I was going on Instagram for a little bit. And I on my reels, and all my reels are just like really like dope videos of Lionel Messi in Argentina, which we'll get into in a second. But my God, what a man, let me tell you. But then all of a sudden one video popped up and it's like this little tidbit of Snape, like how he Professor McGonagall is like doing a death spell on him and he deflects it and kills two of the Death Eaters behind him who are supposed to be like on his side. And this is when you think he's like a bad guy. So didn't realize it when I watched it.
Inside job. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, but it made me excited to watch him. So while I have this excitement, I can't wait to do it.
The inside job of the inside job. It's like Inception for Harry Potter inside jobs.
Wait, am I looking
because Snape was considered a good guy, then was considered a bad guy, then was reconsidered to be a good guy, but was actually a good guy the whole time.
It's a really good series. I think. I don't know.
Well, enjoy 18 straight hours, Brad.
Oh, I will. I'm hoping you're there to film it. Honestly,
me too.
Dude, I'm gonna come over. I don't care when it is. I'll find my way there.
So it's probably gonna be in Lapine, Oregon.
Like I said,
a week from now, in the snow.
Like I said, I'll chop her in if that's what's necessary.
Okay, all right, okay. We'll find a way. Welcome back to everybody's favorite segment,
Dice.
Baseball.
Development. And today, we're going to just get going and roll the dice. And it's a 4.
Whoa! Krout, what is a 4?
Yeah.
A 4 would be one of my topics because I'm the most medium of the group. I'm the mediumist.
Correct.
But 4 was coaching a losing squad. And I'll kind of explain that a little bit because I don't know if it makes perfect sense just by the title. But essentially, let me paint a picture. So 10-25. Okay, that's where we're sitting winning percentage wise. Not good. Everybody on the team knows that they're not playing well. The coaches know you're not playing well. The other teams know you're not playing well. The school knows you're not playing well. The mom and dads know you're not playing well. How do you go about coaching a team like that? Is it something where you need to jump in and light a fire? Is it something where you need to hit a panic button? Is it we got to return to the good vibes? Are we giving guys days off? Are we doing extra stuff? What do you guys got on that? What's like the vibe there? Because I think a lot of the times, it's easy to just continue to do the same things when you're successful. But how do you flip the script when things are just not going the right way?
That's a good question. Brad, do you want to hop in or do you want me to go?
Well, I just think that looking at it from different levels before you jump in, because I'm more curious at the answer of this as well, considering that Krout and I have been coaching for the same amount of time in our life. I am curious to see this as well, because as a fan of a team who's been losing in Major League Baseball for a while now, or when I was young and then now again, it seems like the go-to thing to go to when you are losing is to basically next guy up, see what you got kind of mentality. Take whatever is the brightest diamond from this pile of crap that we're in and transition that to the next year. That's what I see as the best option. However, how do you know when it's like not too late? How do you know when you got to step it up more, when you got to get feisty, when you have to be calmer, whatever? That's where I think Tread's going to answer these questions. So,
yeah. So in this specific hypothetical, you're 10-25, right? So you're kind of at the end of your season. If you're talking about like our season, right? Like it's 40 games. Most high school seasons you're past that. Season's probably over if you're in high school. And
well, I would like to change the hypothetical.
Sure.
Because obviously, if you're 10-25, like, let's just have fun, boys. We have 5 more games. Let's just say we got off to a terrible start. We're 5-10, and the season isn't over yet, but it could be very close to being over if things don't get changed. That's the hypothetical. And go.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I think it's very contextual, just like anything. But I think you have to really analyze, like, what are you doing incorrectly, right? Like, what are you struggling with on game day, right? And once you analyze that, you have to then look at practice-wise, are we doing things that are making us better to accomplish what we need to accomplish on game day that we are struggling in? Or are we spending too much time in one area? Or is our process somewhat broken, right? Because there's a difference between going through a tough stretch and just like things aren't going your way versus like, hey, our process is clearly not working. Our players are not improving and they're not fired up to come to game day to compete. So I think like it's really just like an honesty hour with yourself, right? Like as a coach, like, is what I'm doing working for our players, right? Because you could be losing like 1-run games in this stretch and it's just like things aren't going your way. Like that happens. Like last year, for example, like we struggled early on in the season. And it was like, okay, we have had a lot of bad breaks. We're not losing by a lot. We're just kind of losing games. And over a sample size, it let itself play out and we were good, right? And nobody panicked. You just kept it going. And I don't want to make this super boxer oriented, but I think that's the key is like, have you had past success, right? Because if you have, you can rely on that a little bit and continue to remind the players like nothing is broken here. Our process is good in the context of how we've been playing. Things haven't gone our way, but we have to stay the course. If you have been bad for years and you've entered this, you're going to have a lot of guys go into the here we go again mindset, and our culture might be bad / our process might be bad. So then it's like looking at yourself in the mirror as a coach, like, is what I'm doing every day helping our guys get better? Because a lot of coaches have a tough time, like egotistically, like stepping back and saying, oh man, like it's not me. Like I'm a great coach. Our players aren't very good and they're not competitive. Well, if your players aren't competitive, that's on you. And especially at the college level, because a lot of times, unless you're taking a new program, like you've recruited those players. And so you need to kind of own their success or failures, right? Because ultimately, like you're in charge of bringing those people to you. And then it's on you. Like I've heard a lot of coaches in the past, like our players are soft. I mean, that's just what's going on. It's like, well, isn't it your job to make them tougher? Isn't it your job to teach them how to compete? And if you're not doing that, like maybe your process needs some tweaking. And I'm not saying like panic button to the max of like, let's change it all, because it's just 5-10, like it's early in the season. You don't really necessarily want to create that panic. You want to create a sense of urgency within your guys, but it can sometimes bleed over into now we're panicking, now we're freaking out. Now your players are playing even more tight, right? So I don't know. Like, I think there's a lot of like context involved in it. So
yeah, I think that it kind of goes back to what I brought up right away. I don't know why this is staying in my head, but it's either like next guy up from a player standpoint, or could be next guy up, like give me a thought process down the chain of command and see what they think. Like, because I don't really think it matters where you play or where you coach or what program you're in. If you are struggling, right, in any degree, there's going to be some dialogue. There's going to be something occurring below you if you're a head guy, or with you with the same level if you're coaching, and definitely at the player level, that, hey, something like is not working. And you have to be able to, like, I think the whole idea is you have to be able to put your ego aside at some point with whatever level you're at and be like, hey, I need other people to kind of see, like, hey, next guy up, what do you think we should do? Okay, next guy up, what do you think we should do? And I think that breeds a lot of success, especially when you're struggling, because all it takes is like one thing that you learn is, oh, majority of the people I'm around think that might be a good idea. Let's try it. Because not that you don't have anything to lose, but you need something, right? So I think that's a really good way to maybe try and figure something out in a losing way. Is the leader of your team to the lowest guy. You got to be like, hey, what do you think's going on? Like, talk to me. Let's figure something out. Something's not working. And I know I don't want to make this boxer baseball heavy, but Krout and I were kind of in that position last year when you brought up our season. I mean, me and him were sharing hotel rooms and going back, and we'd get back from games, be like, well, this isn't going as planned. So what's up? And we would just talk for a long time. And then I do believe that those conversations do breed a lot of further conversations down the line that do help change momentum of the season, of the course, whatever. It just leads to it's a trickle down effect, I think. And Krout can kind of attest to that or talk about that if he wants, but I think that's all good. I think conversation's a big piece.
Yeah, I just think, like, especially the thing I'm most curious about, and like I think we talked about this with Cam. Don't know if the content is out yet or will be out or whenever, but can you teach feel, right? Can you teach feel? And so, like, I want the conversation to kind of be like, at what point do you like, we get back on the bus after a tough weekend and the guys are like joking around like in the bus and the vibes seem good even though we just lost a series that we shouldn't have lost. Like, at what point do you say, okay, no, let the guys cope how they need to cope? They obviously still think they're talented. That's why they're joking around. They're not taking this too hard because they're not reading into it too much. That's a good thing. Or is it, what are we like? What are we doing here? Do we need to address why they're like, these losses aren't taken as seriously as they should be? Like, can you teach a coach to have feel in those situations? Because I think one of the worst things you can do, like, is misread a situation as a coach and go light somebody up when it wasn't necessary, or like let stuff like that slide when maybe you should have stepped up. And I think a lot of people struggle with that. So I'm curious as to see what you guys think. Obviously I know context is everything, right? Maybe it's player context, who you're talking to, or if you're talking to the whole team, but are there some ground rules, or are there some cues that you could use to kind of understand when those situations need to be addressed in a certain way?
Well, you did just ask one of the best coaches at lighting a fire under someone's ass in the country. So you should probably see what he thinks about this.
Yeah. I've always thought of it in a couple ways, right? And I think I look at this backwards, honestly, than most coaches. I'm a big fan of being more of a hard ass and holding people accountable when shit is going well. You know what I mean? When things are, unless, like, especially with like a group that has expectations, especially when a group that, your players are talented, that they want to be at this high level. So like when they are getting more relaxed or like not taking the everyday seriously at practice because they're doing well, right? Like, oh, we're just going to relax your MVP today. And like, who cares? We'll just have feel good rounds all day because we're winning right now. Right. I think that's when you double down and you're holding your players the most accountable. Whereas like on the other side of the coin, when you are struggling, I think that's when you kind of bring the players under your wing and you want to communicate more in like an open forum. You want to be a little more along the lines of, you know, hey, we know that this isn't going as well as like we would have hoped. And like, what do you guys think? / like, and you don't, and it's a delicate balance because you don't want to be like, I'm out of ideas. What do you guys want to do? You know what I mean? You don't want to come off as incompetent as a coach. But I think like slowing it down and being calm and not showing panic when you hit those moments reverberates through your team. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So like, I think you can fire guys up with like more of like a positive spin on things where it's kind of like, okay, like, how are we going to respond? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
More like, you know, like, okay, like people have come at us. We've gotten punched in the mouth. Like, how are we going to punch back? Right? Like, how do you guys want to respond? Because that to me is like, if you're going to win at a high level, like you need to be dogs anyways. Right. So if that kind of early season adversity crushes you, then you're going to crumble at the end anyways. Right. You never had a chance to win at a high level. If you go through a 15-game stretch and you go through some struggles, that you were never going to win at tournament time. Like it just wasn't going to happen. You didn't have the dog in you, like just straight up. And I know that that's not, I'm not getting analytical and I'm not talking in a way that is advanced, but like at the end of the day, man, like if your preparation is good heading into a season, if your system is good on a regular basis in developing players and you go through losses, like that's okay. Because at the end of the day, like you're going to have the opportunity to redeem yourself. You're going to have the opportunity to let your players show who they are. And ultimately, like that might even help you when you get to the end. You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
You got to catch fire at the right time. Like you got to start steamrolling at the end of the year. If you start the year, say you start the year 10-5 and you're feeling great and you're in first place, and then you get complacent and you aren't holding guys accountable, and then you aren't holding guys, you know, to the standard that they want to be held at. Because ultimately that's the coach's job, right? Like the players tell us what they want out of their experience and we're going to hold them accountable to that. Right.
Yep.
That's what coaching is, in my opinion. Like you are providing them a structure and a process to help them reach their goals. So that's all. Like when we make guys run because they're late, that's not because of me. Like, look at me and my ego. It's you said that you wanted to be great. And so I am now holding you accountable to that greatness level, right? To that, holding you to the small things, holding you accountable to what you said you wanted out of your experience, right? So, and that's like, I never see like punishment as something that is personal. And like, you guys know, like I can be a hard ass when I need to be a hard ass, but I don't hate the guy because he showed up late to practice. I'm just holding him to the accountability standard that he set for himself.
It's a reminder.
Like again, like you told me you wanted to win a championship. That's what you said when you came here. You told me you want to be the best player you could possibly be. And you're not going to show up on time and you're not going to do the little things right. Then as a coach, like my job is to hold you accountable. And you may
I also know for a fact that, sorry, but just to interject, I know for a fact that there have been people who have not like verbally told you that, but you like have this understanding of you've joined this is the standard. And I don't care, like, you know, I don't care if you're the starting shortstop. I don't care if you're number 39 on the bench. This is what we all signed up for, kind of deal. So like, I just want to piggyback off that. Like, you don't have to come to me and say, I want to win. I want to be a champ. No, you're here. That's what happens. And even if it's not happening right now or whatever, or if it hasn't happened in the past 10 years, like this is what we do and you signed up for it. So here is your reminder that you need to do this. I think that's a great way to explain it. And it's
really easy to be that coach when shit's going bad. It's really easy to be pissed off. I'm holding you accountable, coach, when things are going bad. Really hard to do that when things are going good.
Yep.
Because you might kill the vibe, right?
Yep.
And like that comes back to feel like you obviously don't need to like be letter of the law to the micro as a coach. Like have a little bit of feel. Like if everybody's having a great day and you're just coming off a a win, like maybe you take that, you have that conversation or enact that punishment for that individual at a different time, so you're not affecting the team vibe, right? And that goes back to having feel. But again, like I only am a hard ass when people are forcing us to be hard asses. It's the same concept of, we don't decide playing time, you guys decide playing time. Like, we want to win. You guys said you want to win, so we're going to play the best players possible for us to win, right? So I know we've kind of gone on a tangent here.
No, but that I just want to say the last thing. So no, it's good. Though I think this is really good. I just had, I had a great coach in high school when I played soccer for a couple of years. His name was Coach Z, Coach Zonner. Just like really, so at my high school, the soccer team was, just hit my mic. Sorry, everybody. At my high school, the soccer team was no cut. So everybody played, but there was a varsity and a JV program. But no cutting at all. Everybody played. It was part of like the pillar of our school. So, everyone who tried out for the soccer team got to play, and he had a bunch of different talent levels, like from the very bottom, which was me when I played, because I had 6 years of not playing under my belt, and like guys who were really good, grew up in a good area of like soccer competition and played really well. And, the way he would go about like bringing the standard up was never punishment oriented. And he used to always tell us, right, in a sport that's all about conditioning and running and what feels like hell and punishment to kids who are not like soccer minded players, he would always tell us and remind us before, we don't run to be punished. We run to be better, or we run to be reminded that this is what we need to do to be good. And it always like stuck with me, because like, that's all I did, right? Like when I played soccer, this is going off on a little bit of a tangent, but I just ran everywhere. That's all I did, because I was not good. My dad was a really good soccer player, and I told him before, like, I wanted to try out so I could make friends, go into a new school, blah, blah, blah. And he just told me, like, don't stop running. That's what my dad told me. So I went out there. I just did not stop running, and I hated it because baseball it killed your conditioning, right? So I hated it. And he always told us, like, it's not to be punished, it's to be better. And it just always made me feel better about it. Don't know why, but it just uplifted everybody. The floor was rising every time you said that. So sorry, I wanted to throw that story in the mix, but I think it was a good topic.
Krout, what do you got? Like, in terms of like you answering your own question.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's pretty similar to how you view it. Actually, I think in the short time I've coached, the times I get most upset actually about like the actions of a player are not after failure. Like I know this might come off as a little bit of like a taboo thing, but like if a kid comes back into the dugout and starts dropping F-bombs and like kind of throws a little bit of a hissy fit, like I don't care. Like I'm totally fine with that. It shows me like you care. Now, if it's taking away from the team and like it doesn't end soon and get flipped, that's totally fine. But like for me, like when things are going well and then a guy just totally like, stops paying attention to detail or doesn't show me, I guess like when someone's unsuccessful, but I just, if it's after failure and it's a negative response, I'm totally fine with that. And I'm okay seeing guys like, take it to heart.
Well, that's why I think it is extremely important for every baseball player, no matter how good or bad you are at the sport, to play golf, because that game is so frustrating and challenging. It requires a immense amount of precision, and you honestly like can't make up strokes with like one swing, right? As much as you can't hit the home run to get ahead in the game. What has already happened has happened, and you're not going to go back to those shots and be able to outdo that, right? Yeah. It's now just like moving forward and putting together a consistent round, right? Yeah. Whereas like you give up 3 runs, you can score 4 to outdo those 3 runs. That doesn't exist in golf. Like you can't hit the 2-stroke shot. You know what I mean? So I think that game is extremely valuable for especially hitters. Like, even though like obviously like most guys' golf swings are broken when they're playing when they're baseball players, right?
That's a hot take, but I would say like doesn't matter. If you're a good rotational athlete, you should be able to square up a golf ball and be fine, and it's not going to affect your baseball swing. Get over yourself if you think.
No, I agree. I agree with that.
Hurt baseball swing. Like you
should have enough feel to be able to differentiate between both. But
I stink at golf.
yeah, and that's okay. But I think it's important to go through that mental struggle and be like,
Oh,
all right, man, I just went in the water. I was having a good round through 11 holes. What am I going to do now? Right? Because if you just crumble there, then your round's over. And everything you put together within those 11 holes are now gone because you lost it on one shot. Right? And that's why I think the game's extremely valuable because one, it's really hard, but two, it is the most mental warfare you're going to have within yourself because you're not playing and you're playing against yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
God.
So
I was going to
imagine
say,
that
actually, that like reminded me of something I wanted to say earlier. Like, I think a lot of the times, and this is purely just anecdotal, is like, if your team is struggling to deal with adversity, it's likely because you guys don't compete enough and the guys aren't used to failure. And our sport is great in the fact that the more that we play it, we're literally just training adversity. Like the best teams, I think, are the ones that play the most games because they fail the most just as a result of playing the game of baseball, which is built to fail. And like, you can tell when a pitcher, it's his first time getting blown up and like first time getting, the homer hit off of him, or you can tell when it's that first guy's like 3 strikeout game. Like you can absolutely tell when that's their first time. But like the more that you play baseball and like you don't have to wait for games to allow that. Like literally compete so much in practice that the guys like failure isn't embarrassing. Failure isn't like doesn't reflect upon your ego. Like it's so cool to see a guy fail and like you're like, dang, that guy's a psycho. Like you couldn't phase him if you tried. You know what I mean? But yeah, that kind of brought up something for me is like, if you don't compete before you start playing games, it's not a surprise that when the first adversity comes, it's like, well, how do we deal with it? Like we haven't failed yet this year. We've been hitting BP, center cut. It's like, we haven't done anything hard. So how are we going to, react when things get hard?
The thing is, Tread, I think you've forgotten that you have to roll the dice this week.
Oh, yikes. Yeah.
So, Tread, it's time that you meet your maker.
All right, Brad. I'm ready to meet my maker.
Do you want to say the punishments again? I have a dice. I'll roll it.
Yeah, it really hurts me that Brad is in charge of my fate here, but I will tell everybody what our punishments are on the board. We have caddy 18 holes. That's been there for quite a while. Number 2 recently added is now dye your hair. And I think we should let the fans choose the color of the dye. So that's like a lot. I think that we make the colors like reasonable, but we let them vote. Okay, we're not dyeing our hair purple. Like it's just not happening.
I regret this one already.
No, it's okay. This is part of the show.
Be good. It'll be good.
Number 3 is what is number 3, Brad?
Number 3 is the freaking Italian,
where you have to bake pizza for everybody and get criticized by a notable chef in the chef community as we know it. 4 is sucks to suck, where we're gonna vacuum each other's houses dressed like Kirby.
Good one.
Number 5, Oscar's litter patrol. You have to go pick up trash on the side of the road dressed like Oscar the Grouch. And then number 6 is our sponsor, Phil's 1500 subs, is Phil's challenge, which is, I think, 7 pounds of sub, which is, I mean, holy moly, that is quite a bit of sub. So, yeah, those are our 6 punishments on the die. So I hate that Brad is choosing my fate. I'll be honest. I'm really hoping that this is number 1 because I could use the exercise.
2.
Which is important, but not, if it's 6, I'm gonna, probably need to roll a 1 next time to walk off all of the sub. So I wouldn't mind dressing up like Kirby. I'm a big Super Smash Bros. Fan. Played some Kirby. I don't hate vacuuming. I don't love it, but yeah, that's where my mindset is. So Brad, let's see what I'm doing. What is it?
Okay, I'm not going to switch it, right? So I'm picking it up and going over. And that's
Is it a 4?
Yes. It's a 4.
All right.
4. Sucks to suck.
Sucks to suck. So I don't even think I need an outfit. I think I'll just wear a pink shirt because that way I just kind of
No.
I'm already round. I look like Kirby. So
No,
it'll
we're
be
gonna get
perfect.
you an outfit.
All right. Well, it could have been worse. It really could have been worse. So
I would have loved to see your hair dyed or just having
I've
hair
got a
dye
ton
on your
of it.
head.
yeah, that would have been the Carlos Boozer look. Would have been electric for sure.
That's why it would have been funny.
So, well, there you go. That is what do we got for locks of the week, boys?
I've got mine. I'm
Go
going to
ahead.
stay with the same team that I chose last week with actually the same spread. I'm going to go Cincy -3.5 at New England because teams definitely play the same back-to-back weeks in the NFL. Yep.
Yeah, that's something we can count on at this point.
Yep.
Krout, what do you got for your lock of the week?
I really am interested with how the Lions have been playing recently.
Yeah, they've been
6-1 in their last 7, kind of turning the script on their season. I know the Panthers, they played really bad last week, but they're playing for their season this week. So it should be an interesting game. I'm going to go Lions spread though. So -2.5.
Lions -2.5. Okay.
Yep.
I'm gonna go Seahawks Chiefs over a 49. I think that the Chiefs obviously can score a lot of points, but they just gave up a ton of points as well to the Houston Texans. And I think the Seahawks are playing for their lives as well. But as we know, the Seahawks defense isn't exactly the most elite unit in the NFL. So I think that we're going to see some points in Kansas City at Arrowhead Stadium. And I think we're going to see over 49 points between the Seahawks and the Chiefs. So those are our locks of the week, folks.
Yes, it is.
Well, everybody, thanks for coming. Join us next week as we discuss Christmas even further. And this was a terrible outro.
Okay, as we exit, thinking about people going to bars and making Krout a fan of a whole new team, or the possibility of Tread dyeing their hair, whatever it may be, whatever thoughts you have, or maybe the fact that he has to do cosplay karaoke, whatever it may be, please go on Instagram at Big Tread and Brad and leave a voice message. And
Hey, if you want to give Brad, the best Christmas gift of all time,
Please
Instagram.
get on Instagram and just send us a voice message.
I don't
So
care
can
if
get a
it's you
Venmo from
going,
Brad.
yeah, I don't care if it's you going, ha, or you going, man, your guys' show really stinks. Great, I want to hear it. Put it on Instagram. Voice message, big.tread, big, you know what I mean. Big Tread and Brad. Please. Thank you.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy
We'll
holidays.
see you after. We'll see
love
you
all of
after
you.
the holidays. We love you all. We
Thank
love
you,
the
Phils.
Buffet Nation.
Thank you, Black Dog. Thank you,
Yep.
Baseballism.
Hank B. Patterson.
Hank B. Patterson, Altamari Travel.
We love it. We love it. All right, guys. Have a good one.